Why? Just why? Hello, everybody. My name is Kira. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I have a book review for you guys. I haven't done an actual book review, like an official book review, since Seeker, that duology. So I feel like a book review for me is overdue. So, if you are new to my channel, this is the first video that you're watching, hi, hello. I have set it out on a mission to read as many AuthorTube books that I can in just a pursuit to support them in their work, because I love AuthorTube and I watch all types of things. I am a part of AuthorTube. I make writing videos. I am writing books. So this is just kind of my way to try to give back. But I do have a disclaimer on this whole video. Just starting out, I already know, if you read the title, that this is about a Kennedy Fox book. I have no ill will towards Kennedy Fox. I do not know them personally. This is not an attack on the authors or anything. This is just me giving my honest opinion about their book. So don't attack me in the comments or anything just because I didn't like their book. So there's that. Also, other thing is, I got this book for free. It was listed for free on Amazon. It's like the first book that Kennedy Fox ever wrote. So I'm sure that the writing has improved. So I plan on reading, well, they have a lot of books out, so it's probably going to take a while, but my hope is to try to support them and read as many of their books as I can, just like I have with other AuthorTubers in the past. So there's that. Now that we have my disclaimer and everything out of the way, let's get into the video. This video is a book review on This Is War, the first book in the Checkmate series. They have a weird way of formatting their books, which confused the crap out of me. It took a little bit for me to figure out what. So they have, their first series is the Checkmate series. There's 6 books in it. And then, each book is also, clumped into, 2. So, the first 2 books follow one couple. The second 2 books follow another couple. And then the third 2 books follow another couple. And that's how the books are. So, this is the first book in the entire series. This is following the couple Viola and Travis. So, there's that. So, starting out, I did my notes. The plan is going to be to make this video as short and sweet as I possibly can to save editing Kira, but also just because I have a tendency to make long-ass book reviews, and I go off just whether I liked the book or whether I didn't. It's a problem, and I'm gonna try to fix it. So I have my notes here on my iPad. I usually write them out, but I just found that it was easier to type it out to get to my thoughts out faster for this one. So I'm just going to start off with telling you guys what the book's about. This book follows Viola Fisher and Travis King. It's dual point of view, so you two switch back and forth between them. It's not really within any particular, one chapter is one person and the next chapter is another person. It's more like if you've read Eleanor and Park, randomly in the middle of the chapter, it'll switch between point of views, that type of switching. But it follows Viola and Travis King. It is very much an enemies to lovers situation. They had a thing happen in the past, so Viola doesn't like Travis, Travis doesn't like Viola, they fight all the time. The reason why they are always in close contact is because Travis is best friends with Viola's brother, Drew. And him and Drew are roommates, and they live together. And they're 2 years older than Viola or something. So she's in her I believe she said it's her last year of college, and they're already graduated and off doing their own thing. They've like started their careers and everything. And so the whole premise of the book is, it is spring break is coming up, and instead of only having 1 week for spring break, the college extended it for 2 weeks, but to like save on money or whatever, they shut the campus down. They're not letting anybody stay on campus. And Viola doesn't want to like go home because her parents are split up, and she has a new stepdad, and she doesn't want to stay at her mom's house with her new stepdad and everything, and it's like a whole thing. So she made plans with her brother to stay at his house and like sleep on his couch. But her brother failed to mention to her that he was going to take time off work to go spend time with his girlfriend, who school is like 2 hours away, for her spring break. So then it leaves Viola in the house alone with Travis instead of having like Drew as like a mediator, which is what he normally is. And that's pretty much like the whole premise of the book. It's kind of like a closed corners type trope as well. So it's a lot of them running into each other, and they bicker all the time and like that type of thing. So now that I have kind of told you what the book's about, we're going to start off with, I have my categories that I do. I go by summary, writing, characters, plot, description, formatting, if there's any formatting issues, and then other, and then I have questions that I have. Just whether it's just questions about the book or questions that I hope would be answered in like upcoming books, since it is a series. I added that after doing my Stolen Kingdom review. I can link that in the cards right here, or I think it's over here. I can't remember. It's one of these corners, but I can link that review in the cards because I implemented that in that one because I thought it was kind of like a fun to be like, and these are the questions that I have, like, is this going to happen? Or just, like, why did this have to happen in the book? Stuff like that. So, yeah, getting into the writing, I would say it definitely was the best part of the book. Well, let's just start off with what my star rating was. I gave this book 1 star. I don't really know if it's quite my demographic that this book is pointed at. It's very much like a smutty book. I am 20, so it is kind of pointed at me, so I am the target audience, kind of. Maybe more, a little bit older than me, but whatever. I gave it 1 star for a lot of reasons, but we're going to get into that. So I would say the writing was probably the best thing about this book. I didn't really have any problem with the writing. There wasn't any, like, big issues for me. My issues more lie with the characters and the plot. So, moving on to characters. We'll start off with the 2 main characters. There's Viola Fisher. She is pretty much like your typical nerdy girl, but then like when she takes off her glasses and dresses up, then she's like super hot and everybody wants to bang her. That's Viola. She also has, I don't know why, but has a problem with, she can't like seem to have any control over her own body. She literally can't keep herself away from Travis, and she acts like a horny 14-year-old boy. She's like constantly, it's a whole thing. Anyways, she was a little insufferable to read, especially considering she's one of the point of views, but Travis was worse. So, moving on to Travis King. He is your typical tattooed bad boy who fucks any girl that walks. He also has, like, the typical, like, sad backstory to try to warrant for why he's an asshole, and it's, like, because his dad, he grew up only ever watching his dad and mom fight, and his dad always yelling, so he thought that it was normal, and then when he moved in next door to, Viola and Drew, and started hanging with their family, and, like, staying for dinner and stuff, and seeing how their parents interacted before they divorced, and that's how, like, a normal family would be. He kind of realized that it was, like, odd, but he was 13 at that point, and so it was already, like, ingrained in him, so now he has, like, anger issues, which then later come up in the book, and it's odd. It's just weird. So, yeah, so then he's just has this, like, angry aggression that is very clearly jealousy when Viola's, like, around a guy or whatever, and he'll get, like, very possessive even though he's always with other girls all the time. Like, all the time. He's, like, bringing girls over while Viola's there. He is constantly hung up with girls, like, everywhere he goes. Like, every time that you read from his point of view, he's probably fucking somebody. At some point. He can't keep anything in his pants at all. Even when he finally gets with her, he still can't keep it in his pants. He's like the horniest horn dog that I've ever met. I didn't meet him, but you get what I'm trying to say. Anyways, she'll, like, bring home guys or whatever, and he'll go into this, like, angry jealousy rage and, like, try to fight the guy or whatever, and then try to, like, justify it in his mind as, well, Drew's not here, and I always promised to Drew that I would protect his sister when he wasn't around. And, like, that's how he would try to justify his angry rage monster feelings that he would have. And you're kind of just like, no. Like, there's a difference between being like, hey, if you hurt her, I'm gonna hurt you, then the moment they walk in, immediately punching them in the face. Like, there's a difference between that. So, that's the two main characters. There's Viola and Travis. And then there's Drew, which is Viola's brother. He isn't really in the book a lot, because most of the time he's spent with his girlfriend, but he has, like, text messages between Travis and him, and then, like, he texts Viola. He seems like a normal, level-headed person, which he's, like, one of the only normal, level-headed people in the book, so it's kind of refreshing when he does pop up. I know the next couple in the series is part of the couple, so I'm kind of looking forward to reading that part because I like him. And then after Drew, there is Courtney, which is Viola's best friend. She is your typical college girl but she's also in a relationship, like, the entire book until the very end, with her high school sweetheart. But she also, like, she's in this relationship with her high school sweetheart. They've been together for, like, years, but she like, lusts in, like, I'm trying not to say the word horn dog too much, but pretty much over, Drew, and pretty much, like, because Drew has a girlfriend, and then she has a boyfriend, but she pretty much, like, says, like, if I didn't have a boyfriend, he didn't have a girlfriend, I'd totally fuck him, like, stuff like that. But she's also kind of more of, like, a normal level-headed person. She is a little bit kind of like a voice of reason for Viola, almost kind of, like, telling her, like, straight up what she's denying herself, like, you are telling me that you despise Travis and you hate him, but, like, really, I know that you just want, like, to fuck him, and you want to be with him. And then Viola's like, no, oh, really, I hate him. And Courtney's like, okay, right. We'll just pretend like you hate him, but, like, really, we all know you want to fuck him. So, there's that. And then, there is Alyssa Crawford, which Travis works at this, like, big fancy corporation, and Alyssa's dad, owns the company, and so she pretty much just, like, works there because her dad owns the company. She is, like, also really hot, and Travis is also hooking up with her, and then he has, like, an opportunity. She kind of uses the fact that she's, like, in love with him as leverage to move him up in the company, and then uses it as leverage to destroy him later, which you totally see coming. Because it's, like, it's so obvious that he's, like, fucking her, she's, like, obsessed with him, and constantly wants to hook up with him on his lunch, and constantly is trying to get him to come over and to her apartment and hook up with her. She's constantly, like, texting him. She sends him, like, a bunch of, like, naked pictures of herself in the mail, and, like, Viola finds it because she can't just mind her own business and opens Travis's mail because that's a normal thing to do. And then she's like, one of the pictures that she sends is, like, pictures from her security camera of her and Travis doing it, which then, like, sets off a whole, like, rage thing in Viola because her and Travis have, like, started a thing. Alyssa is a monster and hot while being a monster. So there's that. She is also kind of she is introduced, like, immediately. Like, the book starts and it's in Viola's point of view, and then it goes to, it's immediately, like, it's in, like, a little thing in Viola's point of view, and then it switches to Travis's point of view, and just immediately it starts off with I think they're in the bathroom, ? And she's giving him a BJ. And that's, like, immediately how it starts off. Like, you get, like, this impression of Viola, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, she's just, like, a normal person, she's, like, in college and everything, and then you go straight to just this intense, like, description of her sucking him off in the bathroom, and you're like, what? Because, so I had just started, this is going to be, it kind of, a subject change, not really, it pertains to this. I had just watched Brittany Wang's video where she figured out how you can turn on, like, this voice thing on your iPhone where it will read the screen to you to, like, have it read Kindle books to you like an audiobook. And so I had been listening to it as, like, an audiobook, and I turned it on in my car and I'm, like, driving, and then it starts talking about that, and I was like, wait a second, what? It's like, I was not expecting that. Like, holy cow. Like, thanks for warning me. I'm pretty sure they have a warning in their descriptions that, like, there's sexual content in these books, and it's not for people who are under the age of 18 or whatever. So it's a good thing they put those in there. Anyways, moving on to, I have 3 more people. They're super short. There's this guy Jason that pops up for a while. He's also friends with Drew, and he's kind of friends with Travis, but more friends with Drew. And Viola decides to go on a date with him, and then Travis gets, like, weird and possessive and, like, jealous, and Viola just kind of, like, uses Jason to prove to herself that, like, Travis is, like, jealous, and they decide that that's better off that they're just friends, but then she continues to hang out with him because they decide they're just friends, but, like, also because she knows that it still makes Travis mad, which is kind of fucked up, but he does more things that are fucked up, so I guess hers is more justified, but, like, not really. And then there's Blake, which is Travis's, like, immediate boss, and he's mad because Travis worked really hard and moved up in the company really fast, and Blake is kind of, like, stuck on this one level, so he's constantly, like, bombarding him with all this work and giving him all this extra work, and then Travis has to work through his lunch, and he's getting all this stuff done and proving himself really well, and so it's upsetting Blake because he's afraid that Travis is either going to move into his position or move above him, and he's been in the company longer or whatever. So he's just kind of like a giant dick about it for the majority of the book. And then the last person, she's not really relevant, and you don't really meet her, but I'm assuming that you would meet her in the second book with how the end of this book ends, which is Mia. It's M-I-A. Mia, which is Drew's girlfriend / ex-girlfriend because of things that happened in the book. Anyways, those are all the characters. Now, moving on to the plot of this book, which is, I'm just going to tell you right now, I feel like, first off, the majority of this book is solely based on a misunderstanding, which I hate. I hate it when the only reason why characters don't get along or they hate each other is because of one big misunderstanding. And that's literally what the entire thing is. Like, if Viola and Travis could have just stopped being little children for a minute, because the way that they bicker with each other and they fight, you think that they're like teenagers in high school. You think they're like 16 and he like fucked her best friend or some stupid shit like that, and that's why she's mad. And then it makes more sense because he constantly makes jokes about how she's a virgin and like tries to get under her skin that way. So then she makes jokes about him having like crabs and all these STDs or like having a tiny dick and like all this shit. And it's like all they're doing is like bickering with each other and trying to get under each other's skin. But then you have to think to yourself, she's in her last year of college, so she's at least 21 because she goes to the bar. And then he's 2 years older than her, so he's like 23. They're in their 20s. And they're acting like they're high schoolers. So then you're like in this weird, like, it's almost like you're in this like weird like limbo state where you don't, they're arguing and talking and angry with each other in the context that you would think you would be reading in like a high school related book or a badly written fan fiction. And on top of that, it's all just because they can't just talk to each other like normal human beings. Like, if they would have just, like, sat down and Travis was like, okay, Viola, I know you don't like me, and I really am sorry for whatever I did. I just hope that we can move past it and be grown-ups. And she was like, you know what? That's very big of you. This is what happened, and I was very upset about it because you told my brother I was a loser on my 13th birthday after giving me that locket, and I thought you were in love with me, and it just made me hate you. But now I just understand that you were just trying to fit in because he was my brother and they were your friends and I was younger than you. And it's kind of really stupid for me to be upset about this, and now I get that. 8 years later. Thank you so much for talking to me. The book would have ended in like 20 pages. If they literally would have just sat down and talked to each other. But this entire book coasts on that for like half of it. And then the other half is like a roller coaster, and then ends on a cliffhanger. And I honestly feel like you could have probably taken part of the stuff out of this book, had them talk a little bit earlier, figure things out, not be kids because they're adults. She's supposed to be this really intelligent girl, and he's also actually this really intelligent guy. And then, like, the thing that's the cliffhanger could have happened in the middle, and then whatever happens in the other book could have been the ending, and it could have been one book. I haven't read the other book, but I'm just assuming. I feel like it could have been one book. But I feel like they wrote it, and then they were like, this should be this 2 books, and they just chopped it in half. And so then you have the beginning of a book, but not really like a whole book, and so it's like really drawn out, because it's like 300 pages. And you're just like, it's like one of those like never-ending fan fictions that then just stops getting updated in like 2014. That's what it felt like to me. Anyways, so you start the book with like all of this fighting, and they just constantly act like 16-year-old kids, but then also they can't not make everything like sexual tension, and they can't control their like sexual urges towards each other. Like, he'll get like weirdly close to her, or like come out of the bathroom and not have a shirt on, and she's like talking about how she is pretty, just like how she's like wet and she can't, like, her face turns red from looking at him, and like, and you're just like constantly, she's like, oh, and then my body melted looking at his muscles, and you're like, girl, calm yourself. Like, she cannot handle herself. She can't keep herself composed. Like, he will like walk by her and they'll like brush arms, and then she'll be like, oh, he could just fuck me right now. And it's like, you're like, wait, what? Whoa. It's like, you were just telling him that he had STDs and he called you a virgin and now you're ready to fuck him? That doesn't make any sense. What is happening? And so then that is a good chunk of it. They're just like, they're arguing. They fight with each other all the time. She goes to take a shower and he steals her clothes. So then she has to, and her towel. So then she has to walk down the hallway naked to get to, because she's staying in her brother's room since he's not there anymore. So she does it, and she like prances down the hallway, and then it's like in his point of view, and then all he can think about for like 20 pages is her, I don't want to say it, but her tight ass. That's what he says. That's all he can think about is her tight ass, and oh my god, she just worked it, and she walked with those hips down the hallway, and she didn't even care that she was naked. Wow. It's like, and then in her point of view, she's like, oh my god, I can't believe I just walked in front of him naked. Ah, what? I'm ready to fuck him. Ah, and you're like, what? What do you mean? That doesn't make any sense. He just stole your clothes and your towel. And you had to walk naked in front of him, and you're just fine with it. You're more just like, oh my god, I wonder what he thought of my body. And it's like, aren't you more just upset about the fact that he stole your towel and your clothes in the first place? And you had to walk down the hallway naked? I would be upset about that. I wouldn't even care. Like, if he was, like, looking at my body and stuff, I'd just be pissed that he felt that he could just come in the bathroom while I was showering and take my shit. So then, he later brings a girl over to fuck her. And Viola at the very beginning is like, we're gonna have some ground rules. One, you can't bring anybody over the entire time I'm here, which is kind of like a little excessive because it is his house. She's not paying to live there. She's just staying there for like 2 weeks while Drew isn't there. Yeah, so she's just staying there for like 2 weeks while Drew isn't there. And so she's like, this is the deal. You can't fuck anybody, and you can't do this, and you can't do that, and blah, 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 blah. And then, like, immediately, he brings a girl over, and she's being super loud, and while they're doing it in his room, and the walls are, like, paper, and she can hear everything that's happening. So she decides to blast music. I can't remember what she blasted. It was, like, some weird song. And so then he, like, comes storming out, and he's like, I can't believe, like, what are you doing? Turn the music down. But then, like, before when she was like, what if you guys get too loud and I can't, I don't want to listen to it. And he told her, like, just play music. So she's like, I'm just doing what you told me to do. I'm playing music like you said. And then he's like, I want to choke you. And then I put it in my notes. I can't remember if this happened in the same moment or if it did at a different point. But at one point when he has a girl over, she storms into his room and pretends to be his girlfriend, and like freak out and be like, I can't believe you're cheating on me, not again. And then the girl like panics and like grabs her clothes and like runs out of the house while trying to put her clothes on because she thought that he was single but like he isn't. So that's the thing that happens. And then Viola decides, Travis goes to take a shower, so she decides to get revenge on him by taking all of his clothes from the shower and all of his clothes from his bedroom. She, like, everything. She shoves it all in trash bags, takes his sheets off his bed, everything, shoves it in trash bags, puts it in the trunk of her car. So then he comes out of the bathroom and he doesn't have any clothes. He's like, oh, she's just doing the same thing that I did. Whatever. I'll just walk to my bedroom naked. I don't care. I know I'm hot and I work out all the time. So then he struts down the hall to his bedroom, but then she's like laughing in the living room because she knows that she already took all of his clothes and everything. And he goes in there and he's like, oh fuck, everything's gone. So then he's like, oh, you think you're so clever, do you? I'm not afraid to walk around naked. So then he just walks around the house naked, just butt-ass naked. And then the entire time, she's like blushing and staring at his stuff and like blushing, and she's horny the entire time, and she's just thinking about fucking him, and it's just like this whole thing. And then there are like weird parts where she'll really get under his skin and piss him off, so then he decides that it's a good point to like randomly like pin her against the wall, and then he'll get like weirdly sexual. Like there's one where he like I can't remember what she does, and then he like freaks out and like chases her, and she's like hiding in the sunroom, and then he finds her, and then I can't remember what happens, but he says something like, fine, then just let me fuck you. And so then she like strips, and then it like turns into this like really sexual thing that you would not expect. And then she's like embarrassed because of it. And then he like uses it as like a ploy against her. And it's just like, it's so weird because it's like he gets like weirdly sexual and takes like her like small blush in her cheeks as like permission to like pinch her nipple, and you're like, wait a second, what? You guys were just mad at each other, and she just like stole all your shit and makes all the girls that you bring over and think that she's your girlfriend, and like, it's like, It's like an emotional roller coaster for me. I couldn't handle it, okay? And then, oh, yeah, and then, finally, after the first sexual encounter that they have, finally, she comes home drunk and kisses him, and then, oh, no, that's a different one. No, later, after, there's one where she comes home drunk and then kisses him. But there's another one where she comes home drunk with this guy, and she's trying to, like, be like him and, like, have one-night stands, and he's like, you're not that type of girl. And she's like, what if I want to be that type of girl? And then, she's like, treat me like that type of girl, and then they do it. And then they decide that everything's going to be okay. And then, this is literally, I wrote down, this is what then it turns into, after they make up and everything, then it turns into a cycle of them fucking, and then them fighting, and then Travis leaving and fucking another girl, and then coming home, and then her smelling the girl's perfume on him, and then fighting, and then more fucking, and then it starts all over again. I'm so happy that I'm not monetized, because this video would be so demonetized from everything that I'm saying in the video. Like, no joke. Anyways, then, also, while all of this is happening, this never-ending cycle of them doing each other and fighting and him doing other chicks and everything, they're hiding it behind Drew's back because Drew specifically told Travis to stay away from his little sister. So that's a thing, because they're like, oh no, Drew can't know we're together because he'll get pissed. And yeah, and then, Drew comes home early because him and his girlfriend break up. And then Courtney and her boyfriend break up, which is like, him and Courtney are the next couple, so they kind of like perfectly, I'm assuming that like in the second book, they set up those two kind of like starting something, and then it moves on to like them. So it's kind of, you could have seen it coming, I guess, if you would have known who they were at the beginning when you saw their names. Anyways, so then Courtney and her boyfriend break up because she finds out that her boyfriend's been cheating on her. So then Viola rushes over to her friend's house to like hang out with her friend, and they like eat ice cream and they watch movies, and like she like comforts her and everything, and she stays the night. And then I think it's the next morning, Viola gets a text message, or maybe it was Courtney. Somebody gets a message, and Courtney's like, Viola, Travis got in a car accident. And then Viola's like, oh fuck, I need to get my shit together. I gotta go to the hospital. I gotta see if he's okay. Oh fuck, oh fuck. And Courtney's like, Viola, listen to me. Viola, listen to me. And Viola's like, what hospital is he at? I need to text Drew. I need you to drive me. I'm gonna go get in your car. And Courtney's like, Viola, listen to me. There was a naked girl in the backseat of his car. And then and then it's like, and it was Mia, and then the book ends, and that's the end of the book. So basically, he got in a car accident, and the backseat of the car was Drew's ex-girlfriend, who's naked. So pretty much they're just insinuating that they left on good terms. That's the thing that confused me. They left on good terms before Viola left to go talk to Courtney and hang out with Courtney. And Drew, Travis was like, yes, I understand. You're being a good friend. Go comfort her. It's okay. We can talk later. And because he wanted to like tell her about something. I can't remember. And then he immediately goes out and has sex with his best friend's ex-girlfriend. So I'm assuming that that's not actually what happened. But that's how the book ends. So then you're just kind of like left with this like, what? What the fuck? Like, what? So, yeah, that's the plot of the book. In conclusion of the plot of the book, I think this book could have been a hell of a lot shorter. And I feel like this series could at least be one book shorter than what it is. I know it's 6 books. I think it could have been at least one book shorter. Just because of everything that goes down in this book. There's a lot of, like, after they have sex the first time and, like, make up and everything, it could have just, like, that could have been the end of it, but they needed to continue to have more conflict to get to chew that part, so they just kept throwing in him constantly going out and fucking other girls, even though him and Viola had, like, decided that, like, this was gonna be an okay thing, and, like, they were gonna be okay. So, yeah, Moving on to descriptions. I didn't find anything wrong with descriptions. The same thing with the writing. The writing is actually really pretty good. The descriptions were very descriptive. If you very much enjoy smutty books, this is probably the book for you. Because it's got a lot in it. And then the format of the book, it's just multiple point of views. The formatting was a little weird in the Kindle book. I know it's their first book, so I'm assuming that with trial and error, they figured out how they like to format their books and everything, but there are some points where, like, because, like, they put the name to indicate when it shifts, but the name, like, the same size as, like, the rest of the text, so it kind of, like, almost, like, blurs in, and if you listen to it like I did with the Kindle thing, sometimes the thing will not pause at periods, and it will just blow through it, so then you don't quite realize that it's changing point of views until you're like, wait a second, I thought this was Travis. Why is he talking about his boobs? And then you're like, oh, never mind, it's Viola now. Like, it's stuff like that. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with the formatting of the book. Which is a plus. And then in my other category, I just wrote in all caps, if you can see. Oh, yeah. I just don't understand all of the extra sex with other girls that Travis was having. Because, like, with Alyssa, there was a point where he had, like, sex with her, and then she sends the naked pictures of them, whatever. It's almost like he didn't want to have sex with her, and he was like, no, I don't want to, because, like, Viola, and then she, like, puts her hand down his pants or something, and then he gets hard anyways, and then he's just like, okay, let's do it, but then, like, while they're doing it, he says Viola's name, and so then Alyssa is like, let me help you forget about her, and then they, like, do it again, and then it becomes, like, a whole big thing, because then when Courtney sends the naked pictures of herself, one of them has on the back of, like, me helping you forget about Viola or whatever, so then Viola's like, why does she know my name? Like, why are you talking about me? And then it becomes, like, a whole big thing. So, I just, it seemed like just a lot of drama that could have just been there if he could have just kept it in his pants. Just zip it up. I just don't understand why he couldn't have just been a little less of a man whore than he was. And then we wouldn't be in this mess, would we, Travis? You wouldn't have gotten in a car accident with your best friend's ex-girlfriend naked in the backseat of your car. Now, would you? Well, I mean, you probably would have gotten in the car accident. But at least this way, it wouldn't end up with you probably waking up from a coma or some shit to angry Viola wanting to kill you. Now would it? Or angry Drew, because, like, damn. That's some fucked up shit. Anyways, now to the last category. Questions I have. Why? Just why? And I put a lot of whys. One was, why doesn't Viola have control of her body just at all around Travis? Why can't she just not be a horny teenager anytime that he at all shows that he has muscles or anything at all? Like, why? Also, why does Travis have to fuck somebody every chapter? Why? I don't know. Also, oh yeah, I put, why is there a first book when the midpoint is clearly the ending of the first? So those are my questions. That is, I mean, we'll just go in conclusion, 1 out of 5 stars. I kind of feel like I just read a One Direction fanfiction from when I was a freshman that just stopped getting updated all of a sudden. That's what it feels like to me. I also will say, I 110% am sure that their writing has improved, and I look forward to reading more of their books. I am sure that the plot points have maybe hopefully improved. My cat laid on my keyboard and opened a hell of a lot of tabs on my computer, so that's gonna be fun. But yeah, anyways, I mean, I recommend this book to anybody who likes smut. If you like enemies to lovers, it definitely isn't enemies to lovers, but I did not enjoy it. Maybe you will enjoy it if you like drama filled everything. Adults acting like teenagers. I don't know how to wrap up this video. Yeah. Anyways, that's the end of this video. So, if you came here in hopes that I liked the book, I'm sorry. I didn't. Yeah, anyways, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like seeing videos like this, I will put my playlist of my book reviews here. I post videos every Wednesday and Sunday. I know today is Monday. I'm late. But I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday, which consist of videos about books, also videos about writing. That is what I post on this channel. And yeah, please like this video if you liked this book. You probably won't want to like this video if you liked this book. Just like this video to like this video, because I like the thumbs up. And subscribe if you want to see more of my face or more book reviews from me in the future. Because I have more coming, I promise. I will be doing more book reviews. But yeah, anyways, again, thank you for watching and putting up with my opinions. I have just learned that some people like it when I share my opinions on books. So, yeah. Bye!